Hey, what's going on YouTube? Joe here from Free to Play Gaming. Haven't said that in 3 years, so it's good to be back. It's really good to be back. I'm enjoying the game, or else I wouldn't be making a video here. So 3 years, give or take, away from the game. I'd say it's been pretty much all of 3 years. That's when I started doing the aquarium fish stuff. But I just couldn't stay away. There's so much good content, and one of my old favorite Vice guild leaders, Predator, reached out to me and said, "You should come back to Summoner's War." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm kind of in between video games right now, so I'm loving it. So much new content, and I think I'm gonna stick with it." Excuse me. Maybe on more of a casual level, mid to casual level. I have a hard time doing anything just a little bit. I like to go all out until I accomplish a goal, and there's so many different goals you can set for yourself in Summoner's War. So the main purpose of this video is just to show what I've been working on, which old monsters are still relevant for me, which ones I've pulled into my Steel Fortress PC10 teams. So I want to give you some ideas, tips and tricks, and some of it's old monsters, some of it's just stuff that I second awakened my Rauk and my Crow, so the two Inugamis, Fire and Dark Inugamis. And I'm using them a little bit. I haven't leveled up their skills yet, but let me show you the teams because I know people are still working on this. These are fairly new dungeons. I don't know if they came out last month or 2 years ago. I think it's been pretty recent though. So this was, for me, it's always building these pretty good dungeon teams that I can auto. I love the auto battles in this game, free to play. You can really accomplish a lot building good auto teams and, focusing your time appropriately there. So Steel Fortress, this one wasn't too difficult for me, so I had to go out. I already had Lauren, but to get the cowgirl skill ups, she's fully skilled up, and so I put her on Violent Revenge. And my runes are going to be very mid-grade. I don't have all the power-ups, the enhancements, or whatever they call those. So I just put her on Revenge, which probably wasn't the best idea because sometimes you don't want to be revenging towers and things like that. It's very dependent on the dungeon battle. So Violent Revenge, I got her on speed, defense, hit points. Hit point probably would have been better, but I was not really thinking when I threw this rune up here, or even built her with some of these different runes. I was just like, I know she needs runes, and she's a super meta type character for a lot of the new content. So yeah, look at how horrible this rune is. It has no, I don't even know the terminology anymore. I've been away from the game so long. But no prefix stat, super low speed. It's got pretty good defense, and then just this junk defense stat. And I just happen to have an extra Rift of Worlds rune to throw on there and accuracy, so pretty much garbage there. Speed, look, this is a 5-star rune. It doesn't even have that high of subs or anything. And she's got some speed. This one's not horrible, but these are like 70% efficiency runes. They're not very good at all. 60 to 70%. Some of them are even lower than 70%. So, yeah, the runes I'm running her on, and you probably want to see the main stats that are working for me. She doesn't have that much hit points. She could definitely have some more. Quite a bit of defense here because I do have a defense percent rune on her, and her speed's even on the low side. And it is what it is. 54%. I'm constantly going to be working on these monsters, but this is what happens when you take 3 years off from the game. So I'm not showing off anything. I'm just kind of showing some min stuff that you guys can think about when building these teams. So that's the whole purpose of this. Fran, I threw Energy Violent on her. I'm sure it's not a good set, but a two-piece set is better than a broken set. So she's got a lot of hit points, decent amount of speed. I think I just recently added a little bit of speed to her. So these are my runes. Pretty good energy rune. And I don't want to go over the monsters too much. I'm going to go over them pretty quick. But for Steel Fortress, for me, what the tipping point was is when I built Zinc. You can see he's not even level 40 yet. But as soon as I built Zinc and put him on the team, he's just super reliable. Honestly, I think if you had a fast Zinc, so I had a lot of speed, he's got a lot of accuracy. I don't know if that's super important for Steel Fortress. This is the only place I'm using him at the moment. But you can take a look at these stats. They're low hit points. He's not that tanky. He's got half the amount of his base defense here. And when he gets to level 40, he'll be just a little bit better. And this, I really need to finish skilling that up. I got a couple monsters, but free to play. I don't want to use any of my other living armors if they're 4 stars or 5 stars just to throw another skill up on Zinc. So I farmed one, not enough living armors during the yellow living armor event that was just last month. So anyways, so I am using Chiwu. He would be the only, hard to get monster, I would say. But you could throw Pungbeck, the yellow pioneer, in here, or anything basically. He derps a lot, so he was not very effective, even with a lot of the other units that I was trying for Steel Fortress. This is the beneficial blocking effect for Steel Fortress. It's the most important thing that I found. So he just adds a little bit. He's got the attack speed for the team leader skill, so I like that. Plus he adds a little bit of that beneficial effect block to the team. But Zinc is really the all-star. I'd say he adds the beneficial effect block, and he makes the team very reliable. And it's not a super fast team. Hua is really good for Steel Fortress too, and my Hua is runed up pretty well. I used to use Hua for a lot of different content. Oh great, here comes a visor ad. So we're just going to deal with it when it comes up. Unfortunately, I'm not paying for an app to stream to my PC. That never used to be a thing. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Visor. Show everything I got going on my computer. So anyways, yeah, my Hua is runed up pretty good, but she's swift. She's not even violent. I know violent is a really good rune set for Hua because of her passive. She decreases the attack bar, but you really don't even need that. She's got a lot of, no, not even that much speed, but a lot of attack. Uh, Only 51% crit rate. So yeah, maybe she's not as good as I thought she was. But anyways, this is the team I'm using, and I honestly haven't failed Steel Fortress in probably 20 attempts. And it's fairly fast. I believe it's about 2.5 minutes average, maybe even faster. So maybe we'll go over some of the runs after this, but I want to just show you what I'm doing for these teams, and they're very efficient. They're not the fastest, but they're a good way to, get those rune artifacts for your team. So I just finally finished building my Punisher's Crypt. This team was harder for me to build with my current monsters. I tested out a lot of stuff, wasted a lot of energy, and this is the team that I ended up coming up with. And I think I got some of these ideas from Island Grown. Shout out to him. And if I haven't already done so, Schizophrenic Gamers had a lot of good videos lately. I see he's been sticking with Summoner's War for the entirety, where I took 3 years off. So power to him. I hope everything's going good for all these YouTube and streamers out there. And there's some new ones out there too. It's unbelievable. But this team's been working really amazing for me, and it's been 20. I mean, I've only done maybe 20 runs so far, but they've all been 100% success. I don't have Second Awakened Vigor, but one thing that made, or Joltan, sorry, Vigor's the water werewolf. One thing that made Joltan really useful for me, so he was actually not tanky enough. I got hit point, hit point, hit point. He doesn't need will. He's got revenge, will, energy. And this was just based on some of the runes that I had for him. I'm like, yeah, that's good enough. That'll work. I'm not optimizing these monsters right now. I got so much work to do. I'm behind. Way behind. 3 years behind. But not super good runes. I mean, this got 15 speed. But look at, he's got poor speed. Plus 32. Horrible. But he's a good tank for Punisher's Crypt. Having problems with keeping him alive even with these stats. He's got low defense though. I mean, these are pretty poor stats. But this rune or this artifact, I plus 12'd it. Just giving him that amount of extra hit points and damage received from light is a very huge stat for your Joltan. If you're having any problems with him dying, or if you want to go from, let's say you're doing left tower, right tower, and then face for the boss, you can decrease the amount of towers that you have to kill before you go to this by making your Jolton more tanky if he's having any problems with going straight face or left face or something like that. So that's what I ended up doing. As soon as I threw damage received from light minus 8% artifact on him, I think this leveled up once in this category. And then this defense increases over lost hit points. It's not that powerful in my opinion, but every little bit helps, right? Damage received under inability. I don't think that's useful, but speed under inability, yeah, these probably aren't that useful of stats. But the extra hit points and the damage received from light Made him tanky enough that now for Punisher's Crypt I can go left and straight to the boss with really high success rate. And my Yen was dying too because you can see she's not very tanky at all, plus 10, and she's not level 40 even yet. But full skill ups, and this is one of the only monsters that I've built for the last month. I mean, I've built a few, but they don't have the best runes. I haven't taken the best runes from my old monsters that are no longer useful and put them on these monsters. So I still gotta get into a free rune removal day and spend some time doing this. But so many priorities. Anyways, she's got 100% crit rate, but she does a good amount of damage, and it's the dots that she puts on that's really useful. I have not seen a problem with yet. I know she decreases the attack bar in Punisher's Crypt, and if you decrease the bar past 0%, he gets an extra turn and can be really damaging. I have not found that to be an issue with Yen. I think she's a really great unit for Punisher's Crypt. She's helped me build a team at least. Without her, so Hua would not have been nearly as good of a choice. But again, she was getting killed once in a while with Jultan. Sometimes they would get killed at the same time. So damage received from light, uh, damage dealt to light, I threw a plus 7%, but this is a plus 15, so just that 1500 extra hit points really helped. And defense up, proportional lost hit points, I'm sure that helps a lot too, but just this one artifact really helped things. So if you can only do Steel Fortress, get those um, different color attribute artifacts. So you get water, fire, wind. Get a bunch of those, throw one of those on, and it's going to help you build a team for Punisher's Crypt. That's one of my tips, I guess. So this isn't a super fast team. It's about 2 minutes, 20 seconds average. And Chilling, I think Chilling's an all-star for this too. He doesn't take any damage. Actually, I took out the tower and I ended up soloing it with just my Colleen, Vertihil, and Chilling. It took, excuse me, it took like 4 minutes, but he's just so tanky and good at this boss. So I built him defense for some reason. I don't even remember what I used to use him for. Dragon speed 10, and yeah, defense plus 58. And then additional damage based on defense. You can see how much defense he has. So I threw this water artifact on there, even more defense, but he doesn't take hardly any damage whatsoever. So kind of a neat monster, and he's super good for PC10 in my opinion, just with the buffs that he adds to your team and monsters. And none of this is my information. This is observations, stealing information from people who did the research initially. But maybe it's helpful to you. So this coming in from low mid game, I was able to build this team, and hopefully it's helpful. And I didn't even second awaken my Jultan, like I said. So my Vertihil, he's horrible. So he is totally, this is not a speed tuned team. He's got speed here, so I think he goes second in turn. I think my Colleen's faster. He goes Colleen, Vertihil, and then these three monsters. I think it's Yen, Jultan, and then Chilling. What's Chilling speed? Super slow, junky speed. So yeah, Yen, Chilling, Jultan probably. But that is not ideal. I should have my Vertihil going last. But those are the teams that I built. Let's take just a quick look. My Giants team, this is totally untraditional. Crow really isn't helping me. I probably need to give him some skill ups. He's not built efficiently, way too slow. For some, speed runes hate me in summoners, where they've hated me the first 2 years I played the game, and now that I'm coming back to it, I cannot get speed substats to save my butt. It's pretty pathetic. So yeah, he's on Blade Rage just for a lot of damage, but without the speed, he doesn't get to go as often and apply his branding effect. And it would be really nice if I had the skill ups for him. So I have the Devilmon to use. I just have to prioritize because I'm not buying any packs, so I'm not getting extra Devilmon or anything. So, but super reliable team. I can't think of a failure I've had using this team. And yeah, I'm still using Veramos, but it's slow. It's a slow team, like 2.5, 3 minutes. So a lot of people probably have better teams. I don't even really want to touch on Dragon's Lair. Let's just see what my team looks like. So this is mostly my old team. I was running straight face on the boss I was using Teor. I have some really good rage runes on Teor. And I was also using Saik, the water hellhound, because he's got a double attack just like the Inugamis. And I was just trying to, for B10 dragons, I got it efficient enough and strong enough that I could just take the boss down completely. But B12 is a totally different story. Necropolis, this one I didn't have to tweak my team too much. Yeah, I'm using Sigmoris, so I am doing a lot of damage to the boss. I always take him down after he steals one monster, it seems like. Double Liches. I don't know if these are the best monsters to use or not, but this is the Dark Lich. I ended up getting him. He's not fully skilled up, I see. And yeah, they just have lots of multiple attack effects, so they can take down the Necro's shield really well. Plus, I think I said Sigmoris. I should have said Teshar or Tishar, whatever you pronounce it. But yeah, super slow speed, just a lot of damage, and but this is a good monster to take because this is usually the one who does the most damage. So the Necro boss will steal Teshar, and then you can kill Teshar really quickly, get her back on your team, and hopefully your healer, I'm using Colleen, can get him back up to health so you don't lose that monster and potentially lose the run. It seems to work pretty good, and then I think I just recently threw Lauren in there just to take away some debuffs. And again, she's got some, not horribly ruined, but not great either. And taking a look at my Colleen, speed, good amount of hit points. I used to use Colleen all the time in Rift raids, R5. But now I'm seeing there's these BJR5s and stuff like that. It's like I got to build all that. I don't have that natural 5-star fusion monster, any of that stuff. So, what else? What else can I talk about here? I mean, I'm really struggling right now for some reason to have an efficient auto team for the werewolf. Where's the werewolf? Here, is this here? Yeah, right here. So the level 5 werewolf. I got to work on this. I'm just really struggling. I'm trying a lot of different stuff out, but what I'm using for the Inugami dungeon, I can show you that. I still have to beat this. What do I have? 36 hours left. I failed 10 times. You would think I had most of the monsters. I built Fran and Lauren, and I just can't do it. But okay, so I'm doing the Griffins. This is the team I'm using for a Griffin. Here's a pro tip that I seen on Reddit. This is not my idea, but I seen it. So the Epicon Priest, Rena, if you ever really tanky, which I did, just as that used to be a gimmick you used to do in Arena, was she's super tanky, nobody can kill her, so the match would time out, or the towers, your towers would kill the attacking opponent. So she was a defense monster on my Arena team. Uh, and this is how I ever built 100% resistance. And with her on the team, this team never loses against this yellow level 5 Griffin dungeon. So if you're having any losses whatsoever, throw her on your team as the healer instead of Fran, and I think you're going to be good to go for the Griffin dungeon. It is a little bit slower though, but speed doesn't really bother me. Yeah, I didn't have any problems with the Inugami level 5 dungeon. This is what I was using with whatever Inugami here. Standard team, Vertahill, Fran, Lauren, 100% success rate on my team on that, even though it's not speed tuned or good runes or anything. And I haven't messed with the any of this other stuff. So total noob for all of this. Haven't done any of the fairy or pixie dungeons. But I'm sure I will be, which will be pretty cool here. So Rift of Worlds, I still have to. So it seems like my Rift of Worlds times have gone down. I still have triple S on everything, but I don't seem to be getting it 100% of the time. So I'm using all my old monsters. Here's an example of how I got triple S, and this would be the team that I would still use until I decide to make it better with some of the new monsters and 2A Awakened monsters maybe or something. But yeah, a lot of 5-star monsters. The Fire Beast, you have to have a lot of AoEs to take over his little fire minions and things like that. But I shouldn't talk to you too much because I am the noob here, but hopefully you enjoyed seeing what my teams are for Steel Fortress. I think they're pretty good. Again, here's my Steel Fortress team, and I think we went over the stats on basically everything. They could be even worse. I mean, like, that's a level 37 Zinc, and it's absolutely fine. Maybe we should go over the runes on my Zinc. So I threw Nemesis on here just because I had a couple decent Nemesis runes, they're not even good. I mean, honestly. Except this one. This one's got a plus 20 speed, and it was just sitting in my inventory. I'm like, I gotta use that one. So Nemesis I think is pretty good in this dungeon because Zinc's gonna take damage, and that's just gonna give him more turns. So it almost makes up for a little bit of the speed. But he's got a lot of speed. He's not tanky, not very tanky, and it's like 100% run. You know, you want lots of speed. You want to cycle his skills enough so that he can put on uh, the beneficial blocker. That's the main thing. Zinc totally made my runs pretty close to 100%. Even though they're not super fast, it worked out fine. I think if you had a fast Zinc, you could get a really high percentage rate with just one beneficial blocker. But if you throw a second one in there, I don't think it matters too much who, just for a little bit of stability. Um, I think you're going to have no problems with Steel Fortress. And Punisher's Crypts was a little more difficult for me to get a reliable team, but this is what I ended up coming up with. So hopefully that gives you some ideas. Maybe some of these monsters. I think the All-Stars for my team are honestly, I don't think Julton's even that much of an All-Star. I think any Dark Tank. So I didn't have the Dark Vampire. I must have missed that HOH. Here comes a visor ad again. Great. And but I think Chillings and Yen are two all stars for this. Stop. So yeah, it is what it is, and hopefully that helped you somewhat. And I'm glad to be back. I'd love to hear some comments from people down below, and yeah, maybe I'll do some different videos on stuff. I gotta do my Tartarus Labyrinth here. It just opened up, so we're trying to get a decent team in F2PG. If you want to join F2PG, it's a lot of the same people that were there before and a lot of players. We don't have super hard requirements. I think just be active, have enough 6 stars that you can do a lot of this content. If you can only do normal Labyrinth, for example, we'd still probably be very happy to have you. We're not pushing any guild siege. We're not pushing guild battles. We're actually kind of farming them a little bit because we're accepting new players right now, kind of building the guild back up. So if you're looking for a guild, definitely apply to F2PG, all one word. And yeah, hopefully we'll build the guild up and have some fun in the future. So with that, I'm going to sign off. Talk to everyone later. It's been fun to be back. Bye.